Hello and welcome to your West Ham United Transfer Rumours show, and rumours are plenty, lots to get through, big names in European football to get through, and one name that's going to make Gonzo very happy. But before we get to him, the headline news over the last 24 hours, Gonzo, is that West Ham are preparing a double bid for Maxi Gomez and Lobotka of Celta Vigo. It's going to cost a lot of money to get those two out of there, but do you think... We've discussed Maxi Gomez a little bit in the past, but what about his teammate Lobotka? Do you know much about him?
Not before yesterday, if the truth be known, but I've watched some clips since then, mate. Yeah.
And your thoughts on said clips?
I quite liked the look of what I saw. He is somebody that breaks up play, but what I liked about him is he's got quick feet and he's mobile. He does seem to move a lot, and once he does win the ball back, he looks to play the pass very, very quickly. If the pass isn't on, he will move the ball up the pitch very quickly himself with travelling or dribbling, as they call it. So, yeah, he's not someone who's going to score a lot of goals or anything like that. But actually, in terms of the energy for the Premier League, and please bear it in mind, I have watched a combined 9 minutes worth of clips here. He perhaps looked better suited to what we wanted to do than Gomez, who looks, Andre Gomez I'm talking about here, who looks technically better and very good two-footed. But in terms of us needing high energy, which I do think we do in the middle, this guy didn't look bad at all, but I hadn't heard of him before yesterday.
Yeah, he's sort of like La Liga's version of Hayden, perhaps, a little bit in terms of his all-round play. The thing that's confusing me, if you like, because we're getting linked to a variety of different centre midfielders. It's not like we're going after this one type of centre midfielder, strong, powerful, knocks the ball about. It's sort of, we're going after someone that can get up and down the pitch, doesn't contribute much going forward, but is defensively solid. We're also being linked with players that are, not defensively solid, but they're good at passing, etc. And it's interesting because I don't think it's West Ham that are going after a variety of midfielders. I think it's journalists and so on that's linking us to a variety of midfielders. I think West Ham knows exactly who they want in centre mid. I think they're probably going after one particular type, and that's why I sort of alluded. I think he's a bit like Hayden in the sense that I think those two are quite similar in terms of their characteristics, maybe not their ability, but their characteristics, if you like. And I do think maybe that's the type of player that Pellegrini's going for. And the other ones that we're sort of being linked to are perhaps the guesswork by journalists, etc., etc. He's a player that's sort of got a reputation in European football, if you like. I do think he's sort of it's a lot of money, though. I think this would take up our whole transfer budget really to get these two players in. But this is something me and you have sort of been suggesting. Actually, we'd like to see us do this. Just getting two big players or starting our first 11. Opening day of the season, these two players are good enough to sort of walk into that team, if you like. Perhaps not on merit, but ability-wise, they should be staking a claim.
Yeah, 65 million on two players is exactly what we've discussed many times. And it's the only way to improve the first team, which is what we must do. It's pointless improving the second choice right back, for instance. It's pointless improving the third choice striker. But we need people that are going to... You often mention... about Noble taking Obiang's place. Well, absolutely right. And actually, what we really need to do is make sure Arnautovic takes Chicharito's place. So somebody comes in and you do that. And that is obviously how you go forward and how you improve. If after that we do decide that we need maybe one more centre-back or one more winger or something like that, then you do your loan, your free transfer, or ask Julios to do a Balbuena and pick someone up for 4 million with the money we're probably not going to get from Reece Oxford or whatever the case may be. So, yeah, spend your money on absolute quality. And if these two are who the manager's highlighted, then so be it.
Is the double bid thing a bit ambitious? I think this is a necessary thing, if you like. I'd rather see us just do two separate bids if you want, because this is where it gets a bit messy for me. I'm struggling to think of another double bid that's worked in recent time, not just at West Ham, just in football in general. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of any club that's going to sign two players from the same club in the exact same transfer. There's been a little bit of sort of we do one deal then the next deal, i.e. when Liverpool signed Vicky Lambert and I think Vicky Lambert and Adam Lallana in the same transfer window, perhaps. I think they were trying to do a thing because there was a sell-on clause. They were saying, "Oh, we'll buy that player for more, that player for less." So then that player, less money gets filtered through to the next club and stuff. But apart from that, it's very rare. I think you do a double bid. I think it's I can't see it being true because this is a bit ambitious, I think. Just do 2 separate bids. Does it bother you, or do you think stick to 2 separate ones, or is a double one sort of, 65 million sounds more than 30 million and 35 million for some reason? It just does, doesn't it? One bid fee sounds a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, funny. I've the 2 examples. Just as you were speaking, I'm thinking of. I've got 2 examples for you, and they were both Harry. And I think I might be wrong. I think he brought Titi Camara and Rigobert Song from Liverpool. I think when he was at Portsmouth, I think he brought in Herman Riderson, the Portuguese midfielder, and somebody else from Tottenham. He brought 3 players in from Tottenham for Portsmouth, as people will be screaming at the screen, telling me who they are. So Harry's got some form for doing it. I guess it is overly complicated, but maybe it's more simple. I don't know. It's hard to say. Will it annoy Celta Vigo? Might annoy me. I think if I was going to say, taking 2 of our players, the last thing that you want as a European club, and European clubs are quite annoyed with English clubs. We've got all the money, by the way. They don't look on us favourably. So the last thing they want is us pinching possibly their 2 best players. I'm not completely up to date on whether they are the best players in their squad. I imagine they are. But look, if that's what they feel they've got to go for, then go for it. It's tough. Might be easier, might be harder.
The next 2 players we're going to discuss, Gonzo's licking his lips at discussing one of them. They both play for Marseille. Now, to give it to context, Marseille have money problems again. There's a couple of players they've had to, for example, Mario Balotelli, they couldn't renew his contract because they don't have the funds. Now, Marseille are trying to shift a couple of players out to balance books, but the ones they're wanting to shift, no one wants to buy. The ones that sort of people are interested in, the players themselves don't actually want to leave Marseille. So this is proving a bit of a predicament because I think they're looking at trying moving on players like Tovan and stuff, but no one wants them. So the more sought after players are the ones that clubs are targeting. Now, West Ham have been linked with 2 of them in the last 24 hours. And Gonzo, you've been
yes, Geo.
You've been banging on about a certain midfielder for months now. We're finally linked with him. Are you getting excited yet?
Well, I'm excited that we've been linked to him, which someone other than myself has recognised his talent. But it might just be a French journalist. I've got to thank Elliot Tyler, who just as we were going in to start this show, had actually twigged me. That's not what you do on Twitter. What you do? Tagged me. Twigged? He tagged me in on the fact that a French journalist had linked us with Morgan Sanson. And yeah, I have been going on about him for months. He is a wonderful player. Hopefully, it's more than just media speculation. I think he suits what we need down to the ground. He ticks all the boxes. He's the right age. He can shoot. He can pass. He can tackle. He can run. He's a fantastic player. And I was going to say he'd feature, I'm sure he'll get in the France national team. But actually, France are a freakish nation who can actually produce 2 totally separate starting 11s who are almost as good as one another. But he's fantastic. He really is. And I would love us to sign him. He would improve our midfield instantly in every department. He's an all-rounder. The other day when we were talking about it, Geo, and you said, I was talking about David Platt and players like that, and you said, well, can you name any in English football that are like that these days? And I said, no, I can't. And obviously I mentioned Morgan's name again because he does give that all-round game, that box-to-box quality. I'd be delighted. Really would.
What's his price tag off there? If West Ham were linked to pay an X for him, what would the sort of top tier X be for you to say, yeah, that's a good deal?
Well, I think if we could get him for 25, 30 million, that would be a good deal. You're not going to pinch him for 10. But then again, you've just told me a load of stuff about Marseille, which I didn't know. I didn't know they were struggling for money. So he's certainly worth that. He's going to be a very, very good player.
Yeah, I think one advantage any club out with France are going to have for this one is I think Lyon's looking at a couple of their players, and Lyon are sort of the last team they want to sell to type thing. So I think they're hoping teams from away from France will come in and go after one of the 2 players. But we'll wait and see. But the other Marseille player we're being linked with is a 19-year-old centre-back called Boubacar Kamara. So young left-sided centre-back and from Marseille. I think he would cost quite a bit, though. I think this would be another Diop signing. Now, while we say centre-backs, very unrealistic, we're being linked to this Maripan quite a lot, and there's some talks that Albana's ready to go back to Italy, if you like. But do you think spending 20 million on a centre back would be a bit much at this point in time? Unless we get someone like Hayden for 15 million, then you do obviously have a little bit left over.
I think it depends on the striker target, as I've never thought we were out of the race for Gomez, as we've said many times on this channel. So if it's Gomez that we want, then I think Maxi Gomez, of course, then he's going to cost a lot of money. Does that leave us much for a midfielder? Probably not. Does that then leave an additional bit for a centre back? No, I guess it depends on who wants to buy Ogbonna and how much they're willing to buy him for. I would think 20 million for a centre back is hugely excessive. And I go back to the first time at the very, very start of this video, which was we must strengthen the first team and not look to do peripheral positions. It's not a position that needs instant addressing. Yes, we conceded a lot of shots last season. Yes, the defence can tighten up, but I don't look at our squad and start scratching around wondering if we have first team standard centre backs. We do. And there's no guarantee that we spend £15 million on a centre back and he gets into the first team, because actually you still might start Diop and Balbuena. Well, if that's the case, then why spend that sort of money on a centre back? Wait and see what happens. If we get money from Ogbonna, then obviously we have to replace a centre back. But I wouldn't, before we've got the midfielder and the striker, I wouldn't be going spending £20 million on a centre back. No way.
My centre back thing is, I think maybe Hussela sees an opportunity. He sees someone going for less than he thinks they're worth. Maybe he thinks that actually they're a 30-40 million pound player going for 20 million. We need to go in there and get that centre back, because a year in the Premier League puts you up to the 40-50 million pound bracket, if you like. My only other thing is, one, if they've already got something in the pipeline for Balbuena, so I sort of think we could do with getting someone in. The other thing is, Balbuena had a decent injury last season. He was out for about a third of the season. So there is, maybe they're looking at Balbuena thinking, if that happens again, we need someone better than Ogbonna to step in a little bit. Now, while Ogbonna did okay, perhaps Pellegrini didn't think he did okay. It also budged Diop out of position for a little while as well. So perhaps they're thinking, just in case something happens with Balbuena, perhaps they know something about Balbuena. Maybe his injury history is, if I was to ask you about when I had injuries before West Ham, you probably wouldn't know. I don't know. I could have looked up, but never. So perhaps it's a recurring theme. But when perhaps maybe misses a chunk of games, and so they're looking at bringing someone in. So the Marseille being skint thing, perhaps they're seeing an opportunity where there's a young, talented centre back, 19 years of age, with decent experience under his belt for that age. He's in the French under 21s, I think, or he's certainly in the under 19s anyway. So perhaps they're thinking, we get this guy in, plays a handful of games, he's worth double what we paid. So it could be that. Another player we're being linked to is another midfielder from Spain, a different type of midfielder to Lobotka. Written down, it's spelled Joe Jordan, or Gonzo will call it Joe Jordan. If you're Spanish, it's Joan Jordan. Eibar centre midfielder. £13 million release clause, though. He looks like an all-rounder centre midfielder. Going by his stats, he's pretty impressive. I have to say, his passing's good, his tackling's good, his interceptions are good, his shooting's good. I think he got 4 goals and 4 assists last season, etc. So nothing stand out, but still a decent little stats package from this centre mid, and the right age as well. Have you heard of this guy, Gonzo?
I listen. I'm not going to insult everybody by reading from Wikipedia and pretending I know this guy. I've never even heard of him. How do you spell his surname?
Jordan.
Oh, his surname is Jordan.
Yeah, his first name's Joan, Joan.
Joan.
Yeah.
Joan Jordan.
Yeah, Joan Jordan. Yeah.
From Sofia.
No, Eibar, Eibar.
Well, no, I've never. Here we go. Oh, sorry.
He's a good all-rounder centre midfielder. He's held in high regard over in Spain, I think. He's been linked to some of the bigger Spanish clubs, but no one's swooped for him quite yet. Early 20, I think he's 23 years old. So fits the... I think this one's more of an Andre Gomez style player rather than a Lobotka or a Hayden one. What are you reading there? You're looking a bit confused.
No, sorry. That's my reading face, Geo. That's my reading face. I am reading about him there. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, that is exactly the age that we need to bring in at the moment. So, yeah, I mean, it's in the sun. Not that that's any different to any other paper. Most of them are guessing at the moment. what's it say, £13.25 million. Yeah, look, again, what can you say? You can't say much about knowing more about him without seeing him play. But if his stats are good and he looks good, he's certainly got the right age range. I don't mind that. I would far prefer something like that, albeit I haven't seen him, than an Isaac Hayden. I would. That doesn't mean I just want a foreigner over an English. But if we were bringing in Mason Mount, for instance, not a problem. Great. But, I don't want to sort of a cast off somebody that Newcastle value at about 15 million only coming to us because he wants to move to London or something like that. It's not an exciting signing. I'd much rather go on a voyage of discovery with some young player called Joan. And let's be fair, we have already lost a player with a lady's name, so it would be good to bring him in as well.
he's punt money. This is what I call punt money. It's he comes in. He plays half your games. You could put in it was a failure. You'd be able to sell him and get your money back again. All you have to do is look at Fernandez. It's a perfect example of someone that comes in and does okay, and then you need to sell him. You make your money back. I think it'd be fantastic, this type of signing. I can't say I know much of him, but I'm a stats man. And stats wise, he looks like he holds his own, certainly, over in Spain. Another player we've been linked with, we're not going to discuss otherwise because we've been linked with that many players, is Dani Ceballos, the Real Madrid midfielder. We've been linked to him again because Real Madrid have now spent in excess of £300 million this summer. So they're under severe pressure to reduce their FFP. Apparently up to about 10 players might be leaving Madrid this summer to try and recoup some of that money. So West Ham are smelling a bit of a discount, I think, and they're interested in him again. We're being linked to Brahimi again, who obviously left Porto in the summer out of contract. Would probably have a massive sign-on fee, so it wouldn't be a free transfer. If you like net spend, it's free, but for West Ham, it's still going to cost a decent a bit of money. Another player we're being linked to now, I sort of threw this at you a couple of weeks ago, Gonzo, and we didn't discuss him because we didn't really know about him, but we're being linked to him again. It's Claude Maurice, the Lorente striker, scored 14 goals last season. Have you looked at him since or that, Gonzo?
I haven't, but I do know Brahimi, and he's a good player. But no, I don't know old Claude Maurice, I'm sorry to say.
Well, you want your women's name? There's another one that we might be able to bring in.
Maud. It's Maud. Is it Maud or Claude?
Claude.
Oh, okay.
He's been looked at. Well, Maurice is a woman's name. I was alluding that Maurice is the feminine name of the two. They're not Claude. But he's been looked at by West Ham as well as Arsenal. Is interested in Germany as well to try and get him out of the second division in French football. Vissot's has been linked to a move to Augsburg again, but apparently they don't want to pay the £4 million fee. They've not got too much money over at Augsburg, and they're not too happy about paying £4 million. So that one still hangs. It's on the seesaw. It's the seesaw's tipped in Visa's favour of leaving, but it's not exactly touching the ground quite yet. Michail Antonio has been linked to Crystal Palace once again, as it seems inevitable that Zaha will be leaving Selhurst Park this summer, and Antonio's at the top of the list for Roy Hodgson. But we're not going to discuss that. We've done it before, and we'll do it again should the rumours hot up. Now, Pedro Obiang has been linked heavily to a move to Roma, as well as other Italian clubs. Gonzo, do you think it's sort of like a little bit of pressure on West Ham to get Obiang off the books a little bit? I think this is the one player Pellegrini must be itching to try and sell for 8 to 10 million. I think he must be thinking, I need a centre mid, and you're £8 million. Get out the club.
Yeah, him and Hernandez, actually, I think, because they are going to be close to 10 million for each one, which obviously, you add it up. So that's going to improve our balance, our kitty substantially. So, yeah, and he's not moaned, no trouble from him. He wanted to go last summer. We told him he couldn't. He stayed, with good grace, no moaning, and done another year. So I think he deserves to go. His family are over in Italy as well. So if we can get the money, then it'd be, good for us, good for him, good all round, really. So yeah, we need to get rid of him, certainly.
I think the sooner the better as well, actually. I think depending on how much you get for Obiang and how quick you can sell him might define how many centre midfielders we bring in. I think right now we're bringing in one. But if you sell Obiang, and you have a look at the budget, he might think, actually, now I fancy getting in, I don't know, this Ordan for £13 million, and I've still got a little bit of money left. I can go get another centre midfielder to come in there as well. So I think Pellegrini's under pressure to get Obiang off the books, and I'd be surprised if he's not gone soon, actually. He fits the Italian league. He's got a decent enough reputation over there from what he did with Sampdoria. I think it's just a case of when and if, and it's a case of how much. 8 million seems a bit cheap, though. I thought we would have got near to the £10 million mark, but we'll wait and see. Is there any more transfer rumours that you have seen surrounding West Ham you'd like to quickly discuss, Gonzo?
Not I can think of off the top of my head, but I certainly would like to see in the comments below footballers with ladies' names from our subscribers, please. Obviously not ladies, men footballers with ladies' names. Let's have them.
That's an interesting question. I would like to know your thoughts on the players we've been linked with, women's names or not. But there'll be people out there that know a bit more about Joan Jordan, Spanish English version. Joan Jordan. People have been know more about him than we do, as well as Lobotka. Gonzo's mate Morgan Sanson as well. So let us know in the comments below what you think. We'll be doing a video very, very soon. There's a few topics that's got nothing to do with transfers I would like to have a discussion with Gonzo about, such as Wusa, Socios, that funny app, and West Ham charging more for people that have renewed for the hospitality at West Ham than they are for people that's got a season ticket and might be upgrading to hospitality. You get it cheaper that way. So we'll do a video soon. Also, if you would like season ticket for the boats, please email us hammerschat@gmail.com for more information to purchase one, etc. We're now selling them. Thanks to everybody that's renewed so far. Everybody that's got in touch so far, I have replied. If you're watching this thinking you've not replied to me, I've missed it. Please email us again. I apologize in advance. That's been Gordon, or sometimes known as Gonzo. I've been Geo, been Hammerschat. Thank you for joining us. Drop a like in the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new around here, and we'll see you in the